Super Mario 64 Royal Legacy is a shorter Mario 64 ROM hack. It's not quite as short as Vacation Course, but relative to a lot of hacks, it is definitely on the shorter side. It takes place in Tartaruga Castle, and it tells the story of how Bowser stole Peach's crown, which in turn gave him all kinds of powers. I didn't realize the crown itself was magical. I'm surprised it didn't turn him into Bowsette or something. But anyway, the only person who can stop Bowser and get Peach's crown back is Mario. Or Luigi, but I guess he's off doing his own thing right now, so it's gotta be Mario. This is a hack that consists only of 4 levels and 30 stars. Now, that might not sound very impressive, but these are very solid levels that offer you your usual Mario 64 fix, with the same platforming and exploration challenges you've come to expect, but in these slightly more compact levels. You have the grassy mushroom area, the big volcanic level, the snowy village with the town hall and the big snowman, and the sand level with this pachinko machine. All 4 of these levels are very easy on the eyes and fun to explore. Their somewhat more compact nature means you're never too far away from the next fun moment. The mushroom level is probably my favorite because of how layered it is. You have the main floor, which is these grassy areas with flower patches and coins. But then you go for a dive in the water and realize there's an entire riverbed down here with all kinds of shit to find. Then you got the high up cliffs overlooking the entire level. The use of verticality is absolutely spot on in this level. And then you find out there's a whole ass cave in here with bats and crystals and shit. This one level has more variety and takes you to more locale than 10 levels in something like New Super Mario Bros. Would. Maybe it's not fair to compare the two because one is 3D and the other is 2D, but I don't know, I'll never pass up an opportunity to shit on New Super Mario Bros. But anyway, it's very impressive nonetheless. The worlds can also manage to feel very real and lived in, especially the Winterland. There are houses everywhere with little piles of firewood outside the door. From a presentational standpoint, I actually think the hub world is the coolest area. It's a very compact little castle with 4 different rooms, one for each world, and each room is a very miniature version of its respective world. It's a nice way of telling you vaguely what you can expect when you enter. In that respect, it's kind of reminiscent of Banjo-Kazooie's hub world. I think one of the cool things about this hack is how it requires you to pay attention to the landscapes and pick up clues and hints to figure out what you should be doing. Every level has one of these little paintings inside of it that tell you the location of a secret, but it's up to you to figure out the significance of that secret. It's not some big-brained rocket science puzzle that you have to figure out using your cursory lessons and mathematical proofs. It's on the level of what you'd expect from Mario 64. But on the other hand, you also have occasional hints and clues that are told to you by the inhabitants of the game's world, which is another thing that adds legitimacy and realism to this fictional universe, while also requiring you to engage with it to a greater degree. The difficulty for this hack tends to lean a little bit on the easier side, but it hits you with a couple of difficulty bumps here and there just to keep you on your toes, like the race with Koopa the Quick where you basically cannot make a single mistake, and there's fire breathers spitting flames of death at you, or the incredible Bowser level with these slidey pyramids that almost made me throw my computer out the window, or the fight with these 2 hands with eyeballs has 4 fire breathers and 2 electro bastards floating around. I feel like it's slowly become an unwritten law that ROM hacks must have at least one boss battle that looks something like this. The rest of the game is fairly easygoing, with the more challenging parts not being particularly punishing, like this wall-jumpy pachinko machine thing. This is probably one of the cooler wall jump puzzle things out there, because when the game doesn't slap my dick off and kill me and boot me out of the world, also I had to walk all the way back there just to try it again and very possibly fail again, well, I hate it when games do that, so it's really nice that this one doesn't. And that's the thing, when a challenge isn't designed to pull some shit like that, it makes it a lot more reasonable to reapproach it in the event that I mess up. Like I said before, the presentation is very nice. You have a more slick looking HUD with slightly cooler looking sprites. The texture work is about 15% better than the vanilla game. You got these pretty rainbow effects and these floating rings of fire that look pretty cool. One of the most impressive things about this hack actually is the soundtrack. Most ROM hacks will hit you with remixed versions of pre-existing songs, but from what I understand, this one took that extra step where every song is actually an original composition and they are all professional and authentic sounding. Let's have a listen. Now, although this hack is already pretty neat on its own, there is one thing that it did that I find to be uniquely special. Something that makes it stand out a little bit that I wish more hacks did, let alone official games. You see, when you get all 30 stars in this game, beat Bowser and then reset the game, and then stand on top of the signpost in the lobby, the game will actually warp you to this super secret level select screen where you can choose between 4 beta versions of the 4 levels that actually ended up in the game. I tell you never see that. I've been looking at the betas of release games so much that I didn't even stop to consider the beta versions of ROM hacks. That's a really neat feature, and it really humanizes the development process of these things. And at the end of the day, that's one of the things I've always loved about ROM hacks, is the human element. Like, these aren't soulless corporate products, these are things people made because they wanted to. With respect to stability and functionality, the only things I noticed were this one unfortunate incident involving an invisible wall, which, it wouldn't be a Mario 64 hack if there wasn't at least one invisible wall. And also I noticed some occasionally weird frame rate shit that happened for some reason. I get those occasionally with these ROM hacks, but I imagine there's a way for me to somehow mitigate it. I don't know what that is currently, so I kinda just let it slide. In any case, Royal Legacy is a fun little hack with a lot to offer in a relatively short time span, and I can definitely recommend you play it. Otherwise, that's gonna be all for today, but tune in tomorrow for our next present. I'm not gonna tell you exactly what it is, again, but let's just say that I hope you like chemistry, especially the periodic table. Particularly the actinoid series, particularly one particular element in the actinoid series, in particular. This is a layered joke because particular and particle derive from the same Latin word.